I'm Kayla, welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing a book talk on Fonda Lee and the Greenbone Saga. Recently, I have read Jade City and Jade War by Fonda Lee. I absolutely loved them. I'm going to co-file the hell out of these because I'm not going to go over the plot. Well, no, I will, but not first. Okay, so co-file. So first, with Jade City characters, I really loved how characters were introduced in book one. It introduced it, like the first 5 or 6 chapters, I would say, introduce you to at least 2 new characters every chapter, and not more than that. So like the first chapter we meet Hilo, Barrow, and then Hilo's side men for this book, the Make brothers, Ken and Tar. And then in the second chapter we meet Lon, I believe. Oh no. So chapter 1 we meet Barrow. Chapter 2 we meet Hilo, Ken and Tar. Chapter 3 we meet the Pillar and the Torch of Kacon. Oh sorry, Torch of Kacon is chapter 4. So chapter 3 introduces, I wrote notes, introduces us to Lon and Doru. Then chapter 4 introduces us to the Torch of Kacon. And chapter 5 introduces us to Wen, Hilo's partner. Oh yeah, so the chapters slowly introduce you to people. You meet everyone through the first 6 chapters of the book. Well, everyone that's part of the Call family. So I really enjoy that, and especially those first 6 chapters, you get a lot of almost passive world building. Like Fonda Lee writes it as if it's a manga, where the setting and the prose for the world description are very it sets the mood. Like it kind of sandwiches the exposition and the action and the dialogue of the characters. And by that, I'll give you an example. So there's this one scene in which Andon finds himself in a tricky situation, and he finds himself being transported from the festival to the mountain. And so we get like a little section break, but on the opposite sides of it, reads, "The driver of the ZT Valor, a ferrety man with a thatch of white hair and flakes of dandruff on his dark silk shirt, pulled the car through a number of side roads out of Summer Park." This, to me, feels like those panels in manga where it's just like the scene, and it's just showing little certain aspects that help set the tone for the scene in which stuff will occur. And it often occurs in transitionatory spaces, as I've mentioned, so when they're moving from one spot to another, when you're going from one person to another, like, she just weaves it in so beautifully. I absolutely love it! Oh, but I'm on characters, aren't I? Yeah, so you're introduced to Wen, Shay, Lon, Hilo, and Andon as the main Call family, and then you're also introduced to the side characters of the Call family and the leaders of the Mountain Clan, which is the opposing clan for the No Peak clan, and they're great. Hilo got some issues, but I won't get into that because Aaron might fight me. And the next is Atmosphere. The atmosphere of both of these books is really good. As I mentioned, the world building is something special for me, and so that really helps set the tone for Atmosphere. It's very visual. It's like I feel like I'm back in Singapore every time I read this book. I feel like I'm watching like a 70s Japanese crime movie. I feel there, if that makes sense. It just takes a little while to make sense. Like, I've read this book, I had to read the start of this book the first time I read it a few times just to like get it in my brain. So Fonda Lee's writing, as I've mentioned, is very good. The prose is wonderful. I love how she's woven in the world building with the actions and the scenes. The action is very well done as well because Fonda Lee herself is a trained martial artist, so like she knows. She's aware of what will work and what won't work in fighting and writing fighting, and it shows. I love it. The next is plot. So basically we're following the Call family in their struggle to maintain power and resistance against the No Peak clan, because new drugs that have been introduced to the, I don't want to say the system, but just new drugs have been introduced into the world due to foreign powers getting jealous and wanting to use Jade themselves. And Jade is the island, or sorry, yeah, is Kekon Island, which is where No Peak and the mountain clans live and control, is responsible for producing Jade, which is the source of magic and strength and power in this world. But only certain people can handle wearing Jade, otherwise it makes you insane, which is where the drug comes in. It allows you to wear Jade without the risk of going insane, but then you run the risk of becoming addicted to drugs, so it's heavy. There's like, if you're going into this book expecting it to be a fun, like a good, non-problematic time, you're wrong. It's a 70s Asian-inspired crime story, so like there are morally gray decisions made, there are morally gray characters, everything is questionable, everything is going to be dark, and oh my god. So yeah, the plot is really good. It does not stop. I almost wish I could have just stayed in Jade City and not moved on to Jade War, because I feel so many things about Jade War. The next is intrigue. I'm heavily intrigued in this world. I want to be here. I want it. I want Shay to fucking step on me, if I'm being completely honest. Next is logic and enjoyment. As I've mentioned, this book is highly enjoyable. I love it so much. The logic, stuff makes sense. Stuff is explained in ways that make sense. So if that's something that bothers you, I think you won't have a problem with Jade City. Next is Jade War, and so the characters of this mainly are, again, Hilo, Shay, Andin, and Wen, and in Jade War, I feel like the women of No Peak really shine this book. Wen and Shay killed it. I absolutely loved it. I've only read this the once, like there aren't that many tabs yet, because I'm not ready if I can read this again, because this was a ride. Yeah, so the characters are obviously a continuation of what happened in Jade City. If you've read it, then you know. If you don't, then good luck. If you're attached to any of the characters, you're gonna be in pain. Fuck Barrow. That's all I gotta say. And yeah, so the atmosphere of Jade City is very different from the atmosphere of Jade War. Because of the events that take place in Jade City, the tone and the tension increase tenfold in Jade War. I know a lot of people complain about how the first portion of it felt like it was slow, but I really liked it. I felt like it was necessary. So obviously I enjoyed the writing, I enjoyed the plot, I enjoyed the thought process of the story. I know that Aaron, and I think Jaleesa actually liked Jade War less than Jade City, but me, Monet, I forget who else, maybe Mina, we all loved Jade War more than Jade City. If you're a Hilo stan, you may not like Jade War as much as you like Jade City. That's just a fact. But yeah. So, atmosphere is really good. I need to go back into this world. That's a fact. The writing is really good. I would say the writing changes from Jade City because we're no longer needing to be introduced to Keikon in the same way, but now that we're with Andon in a foreign country, you kind of get that same descriptive style for his chapters, but for everyone else, it's mainly just an evolved form of Jade City, because you're aware of what, like, that you don't need all the lush descriptions anymore type thing. And so I really enjoy that plot. So in Jade War, you follow the Call family again, fighting against the Mountain Clan. And I really be running shit. Everyone is involving international, like, people. So the Call and the Nopeak family, the Nopeak clan, have got backing from Espenia, and the Mountain Clan have gotten backing from the Shotarians, and maybe even the Asperians? I don't remember. Jade City takes place on Keikon Island. Jade War is like the full world war. A full world. And I think Jade Legacy will have even more of this. And so I absolutely love it. The intrigue is great. Once I hit like the 50% mark, I couldn't put it down. I was anxious as hell. I needed to know what happened, even though the curiosity killed the cat and did not bring me back. So yeah, the writing is amazing, the intrigue is high, the logic is there, everything unfortunately makes sense for this plot. Once you get to a part where Hilo makes a questionable decision, I feel like you'll know what I mean. But without spoilers, I'm just gonna say that. So yeah, my enjoyment of this was high. I gave both books 5 stars. I think Fondly will be a auto-buy author after I read Zero Boxer, because I want to read Zero Boxer and EXO, so if that's the case, then bitch owns my ass. And with that, I will leave you to go. If I convince you to pick up these books, leave a red or a green emoji. If you have already read these books, leave me a skull, because I know we're all dead inside. And if you're just here to say hi, leave me whatever emoji you want. If you can't leave a comment, I don't care. I'm here for any engagement. And with that, I'll leave links and stuff in the description. Thank you for watching. Bye!